This stage of the food system affects all people. After all, we all eat. We hold the power to shape our local food system, our land uses, and farming practices simply by what we choose to eat and where we choose to purchase our food. This is the strong participation point where consumers can break the dependence on the global food supply by consistently choosing locally produced or locally sourced food.
Let's take a trip. We'll travel to a country where over 30 million people experience food insecurity every day, with over 9 million of those being children. Oh, wait, we may have overshot our destination. Let's back up a bit. And we're here. Surprised? Well, it's true. According to the USDA, over 34 million Americans have trouble accessing good, healthy food on a consistent basis. Even though America is not only one of the wealthiest nations on earth, but also the third largest food-producing country in the world, and the third largest generator of food waste on the planet. That's right, every year an estimated 73 to 152 million metric tons of food is lost or wasted in the U.S. between production and consumption. That's almost 40% of the U.S. food supply being discarded annually, taking up an estimated 24% of space in U.S. landfills. To put that in perspective, it means that we waste enough food every year to feed 150 million people for the entire year. So the truth is that the 35 million Americans who experience food insecurity could be taken care of for a fraction of the food we discard. So why exactly do we have this problem of food insecurity? Well, first, let's define the term. Food insecurity is the limited or uncertain availability of nutritionally adequate and safe foods, or limited or uncertain ability to acquire acceptable foods in socially acceptable ways, according to the USDA. To put it simply, when healthy food is hard to obtain, that is usually because of food insecurity. But what can make healthy food hard to obtain? Well, there are several reasons. Poverty, unemployment, low income, chronic health conditions, systemic racism and discrimination, accessibility, and unaffordable housing. On September 16, 2015, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Environmental Protection Agency announced the U.S. 2030 Food Loss and Waste Reduction Goal. The goal seeks to cut food loss and waste in half by the year 2030. It's encouraging to see such steps being taken to help solve this issue of food insecurity. But other entities are playing a very significant role in the fight against food insecurity and hunger. Without them, the situation would be much worse.
My name is Seva Bryce, and I am the Workforce Development Coordinator for the RISE program at Feed More Rush, New York. RISE stands for Readying Individuals for Successful Employment. And what we realized during the pandemic was that a lot of individuals who were affected had to make choices. And because of the loss of employment or reduction in employment, that also affected their ability to buy food and to get healthy food choices for their families. So what my program does, or the program of the agency does, is that we provide free training for these individuals to get certifications for their OSHA, their Serve Safe food handlers, for the certified logistics and training for forklift and warehouse and logistics distribution, so that they can become mid-level employees and get to a higher wage and have some hands-on experience to get them into a higher wage bracket. We know with the increase in inflation and the decrease in the living wage, or no movement on the living wage, individuals are having a hard time providing for their families.
I think that something people don't recognize about food insecurity is that it's not just people who live in the extremes and have no food at all. It's many families in our community who live close to the poverty line, who are maybe paycheck to paycheck, and spending a little more on a gallon of gas or spending a little bit more on baby formula week over week adds up for them and ultimately digs them a much deeper financial hole. And so I think having Feed More available in the community as a safety net for families who might have to choose between something like a prescription and food on the table is hugely valuable. And those people who exist in this space in between extremes still need a lot of support. And I think that we're going to find following the pandemic, that's the group of people that we end up serving the most, because they're going to be people who are affected by things like inflation, things like job loss, who maybe haven't felt the greatest impact during the pandemic, but will continue to experience a ripple effect afterwards.
Feed More is the result of a merger between the Food Bank of Western New York and Meals on Wheels for Western New York. Feed More was created and became legally effective on January 1 of 2020. We serve Erie, Niagara, Cattaraugus, and Chautauqua counties, and across those counties, we provide services that include things like mobile pantry, which is basically a pantry without walls. We have farm market trucks that distribute food across the communities where we serve. We serve everybody from babies for diaper programs, formula, baby food, backpacks for children in elementary schools. We have high school and college pantries. We serve food pantries, soup kitchens, and we do things like home delivered meals for clients that cannot get out of their homes, safely prepare or procure foods, and community dining sites, otherwise known as congregate dining, where individuals 60 years of age or older can come and eat. We have an Animeals program to make sure our cats and dogs are able to have something to eat. And we also are doing our own growing. We have a community garden, we have container farms. We receive donations through USDA, TFAB, HIPNAP. We receive food from large-scale food drives, things like Stamp Out Hunger, or even an individual, a child perhaps, holding a birthday party where he gathers food from his party and brings it to us. We are open to donations as well as procurement, and we really do want to always work to ensure that when we're purchasing as local as we can to help support our farmers, rural and urban as well. I cannot say enough about how much the USDA innovation programs have meant for Feed More Western New York. It really is a mutually supportive process of them giving us the funds and allowing us the luxury to reach out to rural and urban farmers. So their boat is rising. Feed More does not have to raise or spend as much money, and most importantly, that food from the farmers is ending up right where it belongs, in the homes, in the hands, and in the tummies of those that would otherwise be facing hunger across Western New York and all across New York State. Whatever is resulting in food insecurity is where we as an organization come in to fill that gap. We really are striving to make sure we are feeding the line and working to implement projects and processes to shorten the line as well. We serve about 180,000 people each year, but each one of those 180,000 individuals has a story, and that to me is the most important part of the work that we do. A guidance counselor from a local school came up to me and said, "I need you to help me with something. I have a student, she's 16 years old. She has a sister who's 15 and a sister who's 13. Dad died in 2020. Mom just died a couple months ago. And they had to go live with Grandpa. Grandpa's had a series of strokes, so he's okay. He's mentally with it, but he's not physically on the top of his game, so he needs some help too." Right now, they're helping Grandpa with his meals, and they're eating dinners at friends when they can because they have no money. They talked to a local government department, and they were told that if Grandpa can't care for you properly, you're all going to be taken into foster care. At which point, these children are frankly terrified. She was going to quit school because she didn't think she could juggle being a high school student and taking care of Grandpa. And she didn't want to lose her younger sisters. She's faced nothing but trauma and loss. Why would they want to call Feed More or ask anybody else for help when potentially the only stability that they have can be taken away from them in a moment, just like their parents were? Because she came and talked to me, we came together and found a solution for each of them. And that even included our social work team coming together to get school supplies for these kids. They brought them school supplies so that they had a running start. I don't know, that's why we do the work that we do here every day, and I don't know, I guess it goes to that question of what I love about Feed More. It goes beyond just making sure they have something to eat. It's making sure they're taken care of every day.
I'm Dee Busan, and I am the Nutrition, Education, and Outreach Coordinator for the Olean Food Pantry. The Olean Food Pantry started 54 years ago handing out food to people from a church. It has expanded to almost a community center that provides whatever folks need. We do provide food. We also provide sanitary items. We do baby food, we do pet food, we do whatever it is, but we are primarily a food pantry and distribute food to the community. We serve between 75 and 100 families every day that we're open. We're open 2 days a week, but people can come as frequently as they need to. So the exact numbers are a little vague. I think we're at every spot in the food system because we purchase food, we distribute food, we grow food, we have our own gardens. We have 75 raised bed gardens, and half of those are adopted by community members. The other half are our gardens that we raise food for our customers. So I think we kind of do it all. After the pandemic, well, it's not over yet, but as it decreased, we learned that there are still people who can't get to the food pantry. Maybe because of mobility issues, maybe because of transportation issues, which is a big deal around here. Transportation's a big problem. So we now do home deliveries, and we will continue to do those. We had an issue with the local transportation system where our customers were not being permitted to take their shopping carts onto the bus. And the only reason that these people come on the bus is to get food. So made some phone calls and met with the county and with the Oates bus system, and they are now permitted to take shopping carts on the bus. So it was a big deal. This took a long time to get to who we needed to get to, but they were very cooperative, and we're really happy about it. And today will be our first day where we can actually tell the bus driver, yes, we can take those carts. The vibe in this building and the spirit in this building is just something that you will not find, certainly not in any commercial supermarket. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, is the people that we have and the way we work with people. Food prices are so high, gas prices are so high, and we're seeing people we've never seen before. And my response to that is sometimes you need help and sometimes you give help. We have now the Farm to Families program, which New York State purchases food from farmers and then donates it to food banks. So the farmers are getting paid and we're getting food. I think that for us it makes more sense to go back to more local purveyors and not so much factory farm kind of things, because that chain can get broken very easily. Locally, it's a little easier to change direction than it is in a factory. When there's a whole lot of negative stuff going on, when I come in here, I feel like I really am making a difference. I see people's lives being changed. I see people going from not having enough food to growing their own food. And things like that, it's just immeasurable. But every day that I'm here, I feel nourished.
Do you have an ultimate goal for your organization?
To go out of business. We want everybody to have food and not need us.
Please.
we're here at the Jamestown Public Market, and today was a wonderful day. The weather's beautiful, and it's just so much fun to be here every Saturday with the community. We have so many wonderful agricultural producers, growers, value-added product creators, crafters, right here in Western New York. And I don't think that a lot of people really think about where their food comes from. And so we're really excited that every Saturday we get to invite those farmers and creators here to downtown Jamestown. We're just always asking people to be mindful about where they get their food from and who grew that food and how long did it take to travel from the farm to their plate, and is there a way for them to get that food more locally in a way that's better for the environment, more nutritionally dense, supporting their local economy. There's just so many things that go into building a successful food system, and it's important that we remember that. So many of my friends live right here at Covenant Manor in the Hotel Jamestown, which is low-income senior housing, and we're able to provide them with healthy food access right at their doorstep.
So we saw a lot of food insecurity here in the city of Jamestown, food deserts and other activities that really made it difficult for people that were living in apartments, that were living in congregate settings, to get the fresh food, vegetables, and things that they needed to survive. When you add a pandemic and some depression and loneliness to it, it made it a very difficult piece. So to have a public market, a mobile market, and an organization dedicated to helping the community was really key to helping us deal with food scarcity, food deserts, and really food equity here in the city of Jamestown.
We're here at Abers Acres to pick up the produce for today, and that's for our mobile market program. So we just loaded up all of the produce for both the mobile market day that we're about to embark on, as well as our CSA program, or Community Supported Agriculture Program, where individuals can buy a share. And we also pick up for the Office of the Aging's local Roots program. So we distribute produce to senior living centers across Jamestown. The last 5 years we've been utilizing either a pickup truck or an SUV with a small trailer. And so we've been able to expand our program this year, almost double the CSA share, and definitely expand the amount of produce that we can distribute throughout the city of Jamestown because of this new vehicle that we received. There really isn't any mobile market point of sale system that we found that works well. A lot of other mobile markets let us know the same thing. So we actually have to utilize 2 different apps. So we have to switch back and forth, which can take a lot of time. So some individuals will pay for their produce with these Farmers Market Nutrition Program coupons. And these are distributed via Office of the Aging, and they're funded through New York State. So seniors can receive these. I believe they have to be 65 years or older, and they get $20 worth of coupons that can only be used at eligible farmers markets or farm stands. It's just a really great program. Helps expand that food access. So, great. Hi. So we're here at the James Prendergast Library, which is our second stop for the mobile market. We've been here 3 years in a row. And really, when we were looking at where we wanted to bring the mobile market, the goal for distribution in a community that's far from local farms or farm stands is to reach as many people as we can and people that need us most. So the library seemed like an excellent partner because of what they're already doing. So they have the summer feeding program, they have story time, they have craft hour, and they've just been phenomenal partners. So we set up here every week, and people from all over the community can come, all ages, all backgrounds, lots of kiddos, which is really fun. And they're just such amazing supports.
My name is Christy Bemis. I am a librarian here at the James Prendergast Library, and we are a site for the Summer Food Service Program. We provide free meals to children 18 and under every day from Monday through Friday throughout the summer, from the end of the school year to the start of the school year. This is a program that is federally funded and run by the YMCA here in Jamestown. In Jamestown, due to the poverty level, every child receives a free lunch and a free breakfast at school. During the pandemic, the schools were closed, so they had to do grab-and-go meals for the kids. And so when the summer program came around, the federal government fortunately provided a waiver that allowed us to go from a sit-down service to a grab-and-go service. So as an extension out of the program during the school year, we continued the grab-and-go lunches here at the James Prendergast Library.
Thank you for your patience. All right, so now we're at the Chautauqua Center, which is our last stop for our Wednesday day. And it's probably one of our busiest stops. And we attribute that to the fact that the Chautauqua Center is a fantastic partner. And so they're a community health center. And I think one of the only doctor's offices, behavioral health and dentistry, that accept Medicaid and Medicare. So that's really important for our community that is 33% poverty rate. And so it's open to, again, any member of the community, but especially their staff really take advantage of the fact that we're here. And another great program that we have is our Veggie RX program. And that was born with the Chautauqua Center because of the fact that so many of our community members just cannot access fresh fruits and veggies. And basically what it is the doctors write a prescription to patients that they have identified as in need of eating more fruits or veggies. And we give them a little prescription card, and they come down here, most of them to this stop because they're patients of the Chautauqua Center. And every week they get 4 produce items for free. And it's a phenomenal program. This is the 3rd year we've done that, and we've had over 80 community members serviced through that program. It's my dream job, and I was so very lucky to have gotten this job as the director of a farmer's market. And so it's just a beautiful thing. It makes me really happy. So thank you.
According to data from the Pew Research Center, more Americans have become conscious of what they eat and where their food comes from, and that's important. Knowing where your food comes from and what goes into growing it is part of responsible and healthy consumption. But it is also important that we realize that our choices don't just affect us. Food waste influences demand, which results in higher prices at the grocery store. And this means that low-income families are most at risk for experiencing food insecurity. Next up, we will explore the final components of the food system: waste management and land regeneration.